Operation Y is a 1965 Soviet comedy. It was the highest-grossing Soviet film in 1965, and it was so popular that quotes from the film worked their way into common Russian expressions. You can't talk about Soviet film without talking about Operation Y, and I can't talk about Operation Y without mentioning the scene where an actor appears in blackface. The film is made of 3 shorter vignettes that are only related by the protagonist, Shurik. Shurik is a university student and Komsomol member, and was the main character in The Caucasian Prisoner and other popular Soviet comedies. The first story is called Workmates. It starts with Shurik getting on a crowded bus where a middle-aged man, Fedya, attacks him. Fedya is arrested and sentenced to 15 days of community service. By coincidence, he is assigned to work on the building project where Shurik works part-time. This film is a comedy but also a satire and is a perfect example of the filmmakers making fun of and commenting on life in the Soviet Union and its leadership. Fedya is shepherded around by the police, who give him a place to stay, take him to do his mandated work, and even bring him lunch. Fedya works as little as possible while Shurik works hard, goes to school, and has to bring his own meager lunch to work. Not only do the police appear inept and bureaucratic, their constant involvement is an echo of the reality of the Soviet Union as a police state. The work site is for a residential construction project, a block of Khrushchevkas. The film was made after Stalin's death and during the Khrushchev thaw, a time when policies allowed more freedom of speech and information and better relations with other nations. We see no other workers besides the foreman, just Fedya being rehabilitated and Shurik, who is a part of the intelligentsia, a class that Stalin sent in droves to the same facilities as common criminals. Like Shurik and Fedya, they didn't get along, and that furthered class antagonism. Eventually, their work devolves into a Tom and Jerry-like chase full of iconic physical comedy that the character is known for. The chase culminates in Shurik stealing Fedya's clothes while he showers. Fedya then makes a skirt out of straw and resumes chasing Shurik right through a big plume of soot. And I'm not going to show this scene. The movie is on Moss Film's YouTube channel, which is linked in my bio, so you can watch it if you really need to. The rest of the scene, Fedya spends in blackface chasing Shurik until he gets rolled up in wallpaper, and Shurik spanks him with a bunch of branches as punishment for his antics. In this unexpected violence, Shurik now represents the Soviet regime. I read a great article breaking down this film that I've linked in my bio, and the author's view was that Fedya in blackface represented the African victims of British colonialism and compared them to the victims of Soviet colonialism. That's a fairly charitable view. A less charitable view would be that this portrayal is racist, disrespectful, played for hardly more than a visual gag, completely unnecessary to the plot of the film, and even the Art Council in the Soviet Union in 1965 wanted the scenes removed. You can decide for yourself which reading you think is more accurate. Come back for part 2 and 3 where I talk about the other vignettes in the film.